Hello, my name is Brian Benfer. I am a Conklin distributor and I sell quite a bit of lubrication products. I also have a Vehicle Mentor on the YouTube channel, and I do a lot of trainings for a lot of people. And we're going to talk about today Headstart 2-cycle oil. Now, I know this can be a little bit of controversial for a lot of people. That's okay. We're just going to be truthful here and share what we know about it. Headstart is my favorite type of 2-cycle oil out there in the marketplace. It's 100% synthetic. It's a great product to use. We have so many guys switching over to this. Logging guys that are seeing chainsaws lasting way, way longer. Snowmobile guys switching over, not having a fouling of the plugs. I got guys that race snowmobiles. And since they switched over to this from a lot of these other products out there in the marketplace, they're not having engine failures, okay? Dirt bikes, weed whackers. We got guys that have weed whackers in the landscape business where the weed whackers are lasting twice as long. Instead of 5 or 7 years for a commercial weed whacker, they're getting 14, 15 years of life out of them. In my power parachute, this is all we run. My aviation mechanic, he recommends this to everybody because when he tears this engine apart, well, I shouldn't say he tears it completely apart, but every year he does an inspection on it. That engine's the cleanest engine he's ever seen. There's hardly anywhere in those cylinders at all. You still see the crosshatch marks. We got lots of pictures. He takes lots of pictures of other ones that he's working on, these 582 engines. And mine's the cleanest. Like I say, these other ones are having wear in it, roughly the same amount of hours. You know, maybe a lot of blow by. The rings are kind of not functioning properly because they're not free floating. But here's another thing we do too. I like to do a lot of oil samples. So with oil samples, they don't lie. They tell me what's going on. What I've done with used oil samples is on an engine for a vehicle is different than what we do for 2-cycles. So we don't have used oil samples. But what I've done though is we use ALS Labs and we send a lot of oil samples in. ALS Labs will take those oil samples and they will break them down. And obviously there's no wear metal in there, but what we're looking for is what is the additive package in those as far as anti-wear stuff. So we're talking like phosphorus, zinc, moly, what is the calcium in there to help keep those clean. And Headstart, of all the ones I've tested, Headstart is the #1 as far as the best one with anti-wear. That's why we're seeing the results that we have. Now, I've done over a dozen different oil samples with all kinds of oils from some of the best names out there in the marketplace. And I'm not going to be here to run those down, but I'm going to show you what Headstart. We got Headstart and some of these other ones. So with Headstart, what we got here is you look at your phosphorus for anti-wear, your zinc for anti-wear, and then moly. Moly is one of your best frictional modifiers on the marketplace. And then these are in parts per million. So when they break this down out there, we got 30 parts of phosphorus, 38 of zinc, moly. Now, these two right here are big names out there in the marketplace. They don't have near the numbers in there for anti-wear. They have 0 moly in. Here's another one that's pretty popular out there. Very low numbers, again, okay. When you get down here, I'm not going to name them, but these 3 down here in the bottom are oils that manufacturers are selling for small engines. I should say like chainsaws, weed whackers, blowers, stuff like that. And this one here is made by the biggest name out there in the marketplace for chainsaws and stuff. I won't say a name, you can kind of figure it out, but they have 0 additives, anything extra in there. Basically what companies do, they buy a good base stock oil, maybe a cheap base stock oil, and then they can flavor it up by adding additives in here. At Conklin, we've added in what we felt was correct for a 2-cycle to give it the best performance. And that's why we have these high numbers. Again, we're going to build a high quality product for not much. We don't have any wear in there and all these other ones. And again, the #1 thing out there in the marketplace for that's making this oil right here for small engines, chainsaws and stuff has absolutely anything extra in there. So what are we seeing for results? Guys that are switching over to Headstart, less fouling of the plugs. They start easier, they smoke less, they last way, way, way longer. Listen, we have expensive equipment, our chainsaws, weed whackers, snow blowers, you know, motorcycles, snowmobiles, powered parachutes, paramotors, things that are 2-cycle, they cost a lot of money. Why don't we think about maybe, hey, why don't we up our game a little bit and see if we can do better with our additive package and make those machines last a lot longer, okay? And by the way, if you're buying from some of these manufacturers down here, and they say, hey, if you use our oil, we'll give you an extra warranty. They cannot void warranty. It doesn't matter what oil you use out there. As long as it meets the spec for that machine, they cannot void warranty. That's a federal law. So don't let anybody tell you that you have to use their oil in order to keep the warranty. That is not the true. You can use any oil you want to without voiding warranty as long as it meets the spec. Headstart will meet the spec of everything right now, currently at this point. Anyways, Brian Benfer with Vehicle Mentor. And again, I do trainings and retail this stuff. If you have any questions, shoot me a message, shoot me a text, 570-850-5670. Give me a call, and I'd love to tell you more. If you wanted to know which ones these belong to, what manufacturer, I'll share those privately. But I won't do it on Facebook, or I won't do it on public, you know. But again, we've tested a lot more than just these couple here, and this has the best out of the package, and that's why we're getting results that we're getting. So it's all about longevity. Thanks for following along.